Co-chairs of the Congressional Sportsmen's Caucus and very active in that organization. I rise in support of the Dix Amendment and in opposition to the underlying bill. It's unfortunate that Ranking Member Dix has to offer an amendment in order to strip out a policy rider of this magnitude in an appropriation bill. We just had a short discussion about how this would be more appropriate in the authorizing committee for further vetting of this issue. And I think there are some legitimate issues that we need to get into, but not in the appropriation bill. This is one of many policy riders that have been jammed into this appropriation bill, from the assault on the Clean Air and Clean Water Act to allowing mining near the Grand Canyon, one of the great natural treasures we have, on and on and on. And this extinction rider that was included in the base bill would prevent the Fish and Wildlife Service from spending money, any money, on listing of new animals or plants under the Endangered Species Act. So to claim that this doesn't directly affect and attack the Endangered Species Act tonight is mind-boggling to me. And yet in my home district in western Wisconsin, I have a very beautiful national wildlife refuge, the Necedah Wildlife Refuge, with 3 endangered species located, from the gray wolf to the cardinal blue butterfly to the whooping crane. And because of the protection that they've had, they are now increasing in population. The wolf to the extent that they're on the verge of being delisted in Wisconsin. Another success story. And the whooping crane is making a resurgence, all because of the protections afforded under the Endangered Species Act. And now to claim in this bill that we're going to prevent additional funding in order to locate those species, whether animal or plant or fish, from falling under the protection, this is not the appropriate vehicle. But there's even more in this legislation that's disconcerting. The deep cuts to long-standing conservation, land and water conservation program that has traditionally enjoyed bipartisan support is deeply disturbing, from an 80% proposed cut on the Land and Water Conservation Fund. And I'm glad that the committee earlier this night adopted the Bass Amendment to at least restore $20 million to the Land and Water Conservation Fund. But why are we cutting anything from that vital program? This isn't even funded by the taxpayers. This comes from oil royalties, from a grand bargain that we struck with oil and gas companies so they can explore and extract these natural resources from our public lands. And they agreed that for the right of doing that, they would contribute to the Land and Water Conservation Fund, funds that would be used then for the enhancement of conservation programs and the protection and preservation of public lands in this country. And to come with a bill now to cut 80% of that out of oil royalties does not make sense. Or the 7.5% cut under the wildlife refuge system. I know Chairman Dix has been a champion of the refuge system for many years. And it's a system that affects virtually every congressional district, that brings countless revenue into our districts, plus jobs, and with the huge backlog of maintenance and operation, another 7.5% cut will put them in the hole. A $7 million cut from the National Park System budget, a 21% cut in Fish and Wildlife Service, 64% cut in the State and Wildlife Grants program. Yet, back home, some of the greatest conservationists that I know are my hunting and fishing buddies, because they get it. They understand if we just go and use the resources and deplete it, from the wildlife to the fish to the waterfowl, that there's not going to be that recreational enjoyment that so many of us get in the outdoor recreation community. And that's why it was no surprise that earlier this month, over 640 outdoor recreation entities and preservation entities signed a letter to the chairman and the leadership and to every one of our office decrying the spending cuts in these programs that we have before us this evening. Because they know that these programs aren't something you can just turn it off like a spigot. These programs require the continuity of funding and the continuity of assistance in order to make the progress that's necessary. And so these draconian cuts that are being proposed right now is going to set back the cause of conservation, whether it's wildlife or land in this country, for many, many years. And that's unfortunate, because these same people also understand the economic impact that these programs have. Outdoor recreation contributes over $730 billion annually to the U.S. economy. It supports over 6.5 million jobs. 1 out of every 20 private sector jobs are affiliated with outdoor recreational opportunity. 8% of consumer spending. And in my own state of Wisconsin, hunting and fishing alone supports over 57,000 jobs, $400 million in state revenue. So if we're really serious about addressing the soft economy we have now and doing what we can to get the economy on track, creating good paying jobs, This is the wrong place we should be looking in the budget for drastic cutbacks. I've been one of the leaders in this place for significant farm bill reform to get at the outdated agriculture subsidies. I'd ask for unanimous consent for one additional minute.